So let's go ahead and slow it down just a little bit and try this example. So in order to subtract this, I am going to have to borrow from my 3, or what we call ungrouping. We know that 3 is the same as 2 plus 1. But we are going to need to take that 1 and add it to 2/5 in order for 2/5 to be large enough for us to subtract 4/5. So to do that, we are going to use our common denominator of 5. And we're going to say, okay, in that case, 3 equals 2 plus 5/5. We know that's the same as 1. So we're going to ungroup this. We're going to make this a 2. And we're going to take our 5/5 and we're going to add it to our 2/5. Now, when we do that, we know we don't change the denominator, so our denominator is going to stay the same. So we would have 5 as our denominator, and we would have 2 plus 5, we'd add our numerator, we'd have 7. So now we have an improper fraction, which is perfect. Now we can bring our 4/5 over, and you can see that now we can subtract the numerators because we have a 7 minus 4. So we can still subtract our numerator, 7 minus 4, which is 3. We're going to keep our denominator. Now, totally up to you. You can actually subtract your 2 minus your 1 over here. Or you could rewrite your 2 and your 1 here. The big thing is you don't want to forget them. Okay, so we want to say 2 minus 1 is 1. So there is our final answer. All right, so let's go ahead and try one more. In fact, if you want to, go ahead and pause the video here, work this problem out on your own, and come back to check your answers. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve this. One thing you're going to notice is that we actually already have our common denominators of 8. So we already have our common denominators, we're good. But you will notice that we have 1/8 minus 5/8. We know we can't subtract 1 minus 5, so we are going to have to ungroup and then regroup them so we can subtract. So to ungroup, you'll remember we're going to change our 6 to a 5. And we technically still have 6. So we have 5 plus 1 we know equals 6. So where do we put the 1? Well, we need to change the 1 to equal a denominator of 8. Which means we need to create a fraction that has a denominator of 8 that still equals 1. So we are going to take that 1 and put it into the form of a fraction. And we're going to add that to our 1/8. So I'm going to take 8/8. And we're going to change that 1 to a fraction and add those together. So when we add those together, we are going to keep our denominator of 8. We are going to add our 1 plus our 8. We're going to get a 9. Now we have our improper fraction, which is perfect because that will allow us to subtract this fraction of 5/8. So we have ungrouped and regrouped. So now we've got our 9/8 minus 5/8. And now we can subtract our whole numbers. Now we can bring our whole numbers over here, or again, I mentioned you could subtract them over here. Now both of our whole numbers are 5, so when we take 5 minus 5, we know we get 0. Now you don't have to write the 0, I'm just doing that to emphasize it. And now we're going to subtract our two fractions. So we have 9/8 minus 5/8, which gives us 4/8. So on this fraction, we don't need the 0 there, okay, so we could cross that out. But I do notice one more thing we can do on this fraction, and that is simplify it to the lowest term. I notice that both 8 and 4 are divisible by 4, so we want to simplify this all the way to the lowest term. So we would say 4 divided by 4 is 1, 8 divided by 4 is 2. So our final answer for 6 1/8 minus 5 1/8 is 1/2.